You can continue to use scrap blocks like this one to hold up your glass at different angles. The disadvantage is that when you lift up the glass, sometimes the block just falls out when you don't want it to. You can replace it with a slightly better block. This one is a piece of 2x6 screwed at a right angle to a piece of 2x4. Let's see how this works. One option is to place it flat like this. That'll give you an 1.5 inch gap, which is good for venting in cold but sunny weather. If you need a little more venting, you can use the 2x4 side and put it in. The advantage of having this second block is it secures the 2x4 so it doesn't want to fall over. If you need to go higher, you can rotate it and use the 2x6. Again, the 2x4 locks it in. So now I have 3 different elevations, 3 different amounts of venting. If you need more venting, you might as well just take the glass off. The limitation of this particular cold frame is height. The back is 12 inches, so a plant can grow up to about 12 inches before it starts to hit the glass. That's okay, but the front is only 6 inches high, which means you can really only have low growing plants in the inside, or plants that are growing at their beginning of their cycle, but as they grow taller, they're going to grow beyond the height of the cold frame. You may still be at risk of frost and you wish to cover it at night. So a solution is to build a second 2x6 box that will fit on top of the first one. This will raise it up 6 inches all the way around. And then to attach the two or close the gap, I can use 1x2 all the way around. What I'm going to do is attach the 1x2 only to the top frame. What that'll allow me to do is lift off the top frame if I don't need that much height. The blocks that would hold the glass will hold this 2x4 or this 2x6 frame. And the glass will fit on the top frame just like it fits on the first frame. Following our concept of not using a ruler to measure every piece and having to transfer it, we can use the first cold frame box to determine the measurements of the second. If I align the 2x6 with one end, I know the exact length. Doesn't matter if I match my original measurement or not, or cut this a little big or small, this measurement will match. But I'm not going to use that measurement for my cut. If I do, the 1x2 that's going around it is probably going to fit very snugly, and sometimes it's not going to slip on properly. So to give it a little flexibility, I'm going to add about 1/4 inch to this cut. That way I've got about an 1/8 inch gap all the way around. The 1x will still keep it from slipping too much from one side to the other, but it should slip on and off easier now, especially when the wood is wet. We'll do the same thing to determine the width cut, and we'll add about 1/4 inch. We'll assemble that box much like we did the original base, and then we'll measure and cut the 1x to go around the perimeter. I could take these blocks off to put the 1x on, but I'm going to take the top frame on and off frequently. I may want to leave these on and have the 1x come up to it and put another 1x through the center. So let's get started. So as before, I'm propping this board up on a scrap piece so I don't cut into my table, or I could leave it hanging off the edge of the table. I'm using my square to guide my saw. So now I've got my two sides, and I've got my front and my back. Now again, we want to screw the long pieces to the shorter pieces, so the screw is going to go in through the long pieces. And we want that screw to be in the center of the 2x4. So if we use a piece of 1x3 or 1x2, which is usually 3/4 of an inch, it is exactly half. So I'm going to use one drill to drill the hole for the screw, and I'll use a second drill to create a countersink. We're going to use some 3-inch screws, and I'm going to start them in each of the boards so it goes a little bit quicker. That's one corner. Let me do the other 4. What has happened is I screwed it together on the table, which was probably not perfectly flat. The frame is cocked. So what I'm going to do is back off some screws. Now that I've got the base I want it to fit on tight, I'll back some screws off, pull it down tight, and reinsert the screws. So I tried a couple things, but I couldn't get the top piece to lay flat on the bottom one. I think part of it may be that the 2x6 has got some twist in it, and it's racking the entire frame. So, as a quick fix, I'm taking a 1x2, and I'm going to screw it both to the top piece and the bottom piece in the 2 corners that are popping up, and that should hold it down. It means that when I want to remove this, I'm simply going to have to take out some screws. The next step is going to be taking the 1x2 and framing the sides and the front as well as the back. That'll help close up some of the gap and keep it from moving around on the top. I'm going to do the sides first, then the front and the back will extend over these pieces. So by doing the sides first, I know what the measurement's going to be. So I've cut this one to length, so it goes from edge to edge. Double check it. I put the screws offset to the top half. Remember, I'm only attaching the stick to the top frame, not to both frames. If you wanted to make a permanent height adjustment, you could attach it on both sides. locks on to hold the glass. So now we have an enhanced cold frame. It's taller, so the plants can grow more. One of the reasons, though, that you may want to take the top section off at certain times of the year is that when the sun is low, this higher front edge is going to cast a longer shadow inside. So when you're just trying to get some seedlings started, and it's early in the spring, and the sun is low, you may want to take the top part off so you don't have as much shadow inside. Tie-down cords can still be used. I don't have to put new eye hooks or cleats in the back. Now I'm ready to do more planting.